The studio is quiet, the familiar theme has faded, and now everything slows down. This is the moment every Jeopardy fan lives for. The one segment where a single clue can turn the entire game on its head. Final Jeopardy. Tonight's category is 18th century art. It sounds so elegant, so scholarly, almost gentle. But as every contestant knows, categories like this can be deceptively dangerous. The host's voice cuts through the silence. In Final Jeopardy, our champions today are dealing with 18th century arts. Here's the clue. You have 30 seconds. Good luck. The clue is revealed. Pens start moving. Eyes narrow. 30 seconds can feel like an eternity when you're watching at home, but is impossibly short when you're standing at that podium. You can practically feel the pressure building in the room. 3 contestants remain, each carrying not just their score, but the weight of every decision that led them to this moment. Let's start in the middle. Kamal Bell stands with $2,600. He's not in the lead, but he's not out of the game either. He's in that uncomfortable space where the margins are razor thin. Time is up. The camera turns to him. What did you write down? Kamal's response flashes on the screen. 3 people who have never been in my kitchen. The audience gets it instantly. It's a joke, a pop culture reference. A deliberate swing for humor instead of a correct answer. The host smiles. The tension breaks for a moment. It's not correct, of course. Now for the next question, the one that matters just as much. How much did you wager? Kamal made this choice without hesitation. The number appears immediately. $0. Not a single penny. It's a strategic decision, or maybe a defensive one. By wagering nothing, Kamal Bell stays right where he was, with $2,600 intact. It's a powerful reminder that Final Jeopardy isn't just about knowledge. It's about judgment. It's about knowing when to risk it all, and when to protect what you have. But the game moves on. The focus shifts to second place, Ashley Chan, because one contestant remains. The leader, Alex DeFrank, he stands at $6,400, holding the highest score on the board. The position of advantage. But as we know, advantage can be fragile. The host turns to him. Alex, you had the lead. What did you write down? Alex's response is revealed. What is water music? It's a strong, educated answer, and importantly, it shows deep knowledge. The composer George Friedrich Handel is correct. That part is right, but Jeopardy is all about precision. The clue wasn't asking about water music. The host clarifies. This is from the premiere of his Messiah. The word book with the words to the Messiah. The ruling is final. Alex's answer is incorrect. The entire mood of the room shifts, because now, everything hinges on one final reveal. The wager. Did you catch last night's Jeopardy quarterfinals? Because what happened in Final Jeopardy was an absolute masterclass in strategy, risk, and pure, nail-biting drama. Let's break it down. The lights dim, the iconic music swells, and the final clue is revealed. The camera focuses on the 3 contestants, each lost in thought. On one side, we have Alex DeFrank, the dominant front. He's been crushing it all game, and everything points to an easy win. In the middle, Kamal Bell, holding a respectable second place. And then there's Ashley Chan, in third, who needs a miracle to stay in the game. The 30 seconds of thinking time feel like an eternity. What's going through their minds? It's not just about recalling a piece of trivia. It's about calculating odds, reading your opponent, and deciding how much of your hard-earned score you're willing to risk on a single question. This is where Jeopardy transforms from a quiz show into a high-stakes psychological game. The reveal begins. First, Ashley. She didn't get the answer right. You see a flicker of disappointment, but then her wager is revealed. She bet $0. She knew she was in a tough spot and decided her best move was to not move at all, preserving her score and hoping for the others to make a mistake. It's a bold, defensive play. Next up, Kamal Bell. He also misses the question. The suspense builds. What did he wager? The camera shows his screen. Also 0. 2 contestants, 2 incorrect answers, and 2 $0 wagers. Kamal, like Ashley, chose restraint. He played it safe, locking in his score and preventing a catastrophic loss. At this point, the entire game hinges on Alex. All eyes turn to the leader, Alex DeFrank. He's had a commanding lead the entire time. He reveals his answer and it's wrong. The studio audience lets out a collective gasp. For the first time all night, the unstoppable leader is vulnerable, but it all comes down to his wager. How much did he risk? The number appears on the screen, and it's huge. He bet big, trying to lock in his victory, but instead, his score plummets. Suddenly the leaderboard is completely flipped. Alex, the frontrunner, drops from first to last place, and Ashley Chan, who started in third and didn't even answer correctly, is now the winner. She advances to the semifinals, not because she knew the most, but because she played the smartest. This is the beautiful, brutal magic of Final Jeopardy. It's a perfect storm of knowledge, nerve, and strategy. Ashley's victory wasn't about a lucky guess. It was a calculated decision to play defensively. She understood that sometimes the best defense is a good defense. Kamau's choice to wager nothing also demonstrated incredible strategic thinking. He didn't win, but he avoided a total collapse. And poor Alex, you have to feel for him. He played a nearly perfect game, but one ambitious wager cost him everything. It's a harsh reminder that in Jeopardy, no lead is safe until that final theme music plays. The game isn't just about what you know, it's about what you're willing to risk. This single round of Final Jeopardy was a story of 3 different strategies: the conservative hold, the defensive play, and the aggressive, all-in push. Ashley Chan's smile at the end wasn't just relief. It was the look of someone who outthought the competition when it mattered most. She didn't just win a quiz game, she won a battle of wits. What do you think? Was Ashley's zero wager brilliant? Or just lucky? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is why we love Jeopardy. It's more than just answers and questions. It's a high-drama sport for the mind. Thanks for watching, and if you love breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next video. But let's rewind, just for a moment. It's easy to look at a scoreboard and just see numbers, right? But behind those numbers lies years, maybe decades, of intense preparation. Every contestant that steps into that hot seat has spent countless hours reading, learning, absorbing. Every habit, every obscure reference, every fact built into the person we see up there. Take WKL Bell, for instance. He didn't just crack a joke out of nowhere. That moment was calculated, a reflection of his incredible confidence and personality. Humor on Jeopardy is rare, and he used it strategically. It was a tool to manage stress, to control the narrative of the moment, even if it didn't earn him points on the board. There's a subtle artistry in navigating pressure like that. Then we look at Ashley Chan's eventual victory, which was also meticulously orchestrated in a way that doesn't immediately jump out at you. Her final wager wasn't random luck. It was a perfect balance of risk and protection. That S, a lesson we often overlook. Winning isn't always about being right all the time. Sometimes, it's about surviving wisely and knowing exactly when to hold back and when to push forward. Now, contrast that with Alex DeFranc. He was leading comfortably with $6,400 going into Final Jeopardy. He's the classic example of how a dominant lead can actually lull a player into overconfidence. The final wager became the critical pivot point. Knowledge alone, even being the best trivia player, could not overcome the sheer human element, the calculation, the timing, and the pressure management. That's precisely what makes Final Jeopardy so consistently riveting. And speaking of riveting, let's talk about the category itself. 18th century arts. Elegant, refined, deceptively simple. For a few, it's a dream category. For most, it's a terrifying trap. It's in categories like this that Final Jeopardy truly tests the contestants. It's not just memory. It's pattern recognition, risk assessment, and maintaining composure when the clock is ticking down. As viewers, we are pulled into this powerful rhythm. Anticipation builds, then the reveal, the tension mounts, and finally, the resolution. Moments like Kamau's joke, Ashley's calculated wager, Alex's costly misstep, they are all critical beats in this fascinating narrative arc. Watching this segment is like following a beautifully crafted short story, complete with suspense, climax, and catharsis. Consider the pacing here. The host's measured delivery, the calculated camera angles, the sound of the clock ticking away, it all adds immense weight to the moment. It's a carefully executed choreography of human emotion and timing. Every single second stretches out longer than the last, and every decision seems to echo louder than anyone expected. And the audience, even though we're watching through a screen, we feel it all right along with them. In many ways, Final Jeopardy is pure theater. The stakes might seem abstract, it's money, not life or death, but the emotions being displayed are as real as any dramatic performance you will ever see. And the best part, the truly compelling element, is that the outcomes are completely unscripted. Every single reaction is genuine. Every wager is final. Every result is absolutely earned in real time. This episode is also a powerful reminder about humility. None of the 3 contestants came out of that segment completely unscathed. All of them faced immense pressure. All of them had moments of uncertainty. And yet, even in defeat, there is dignity. Alex's graceful acceptance of his loss, Kamau's immediate return to humor, Ashley's calm and joyful win, all of it humanizes the game for us. It proves that the game is so much more than just facts and figures. It's about character being revealed right there under high-pressure moments. As the audience, we absorb lessons that go way beyond trivia. We learn about balancing risk and reward. We learn about the importance of patience. We learn about courage and strategic calculation. And above all, we remember that a single decision, made under pressure, can change absolutely everything, even when all the knowledge in the world points you in one direction. What did you take away from this intense Final Jeopardy? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of competition. Thanks for watching. Have you ever watched a game show and felt like you were watching more than just a game? That's what happened with a recent episode of Jeopardy, and it was absolutely captivating. You could see everything in their micro-expressions. A tiny tightening of the lips, a subtle raise of an eyebrow, that split-second hesitation before answering. These small details tell a huge story of tension, hope, and that final moment of either relief or disappointment. It's like a small universe where knowledge, strategy, and raw human emotion all crash together in 30-second intervals. We've all felt that pressure, even if it wasn't for thousands of dollars on national television. That feeling of high stakes is something we can all connect with, making the suspense completely universal. Let's break down the players, because their reactions were a masterclass in human psychology. Take Ashley, for example. When she won, her reaction was what really stuck with me. There was no over-the-top celebration, no jumping up and down. Her eyes widened slightly. A slow smile spread across her face. It was pure, unfiltered authenticity. That's what connects with us as viewers. Sometimes, the most powerful emotions are the quietest ones. Then there was Kamau. His decision to wager $0 might seem like a small detail, but it was a brilliant lesson in tactical thinking. In a game known for big risks and even bigger rewards, he chose restraint. It was a calculated move, a perfect example of risk management played out in real time for millions to see. We often think that winning requires bold, aggressive plays, but Kamau showed us that sometimes the smartest move is not to play at all. It's a life skill, really knowing when to push forward and when to hold back. His decision added a whole other layer of strategic depth to the game, and we have to talk about Alex. His journey during the final round was a roller coaster. He went into it with the lead, which is obviously a great position to be in, but on a show like Jeopardy, and that's exactly what happened. In a single, heart-stopping moment, he went from first place to last. It was a brutal reminder of how quickly fortunes can turn, not just in a game, but in life. You strive to get to the top, but once you're there, the pressure's immense, and the fall can be swift. It's that vulnerability, that human fallibility that makes his story so compelling. When you put all these pieces together, Ashley's quiet win, Kamau's strategic caution, and Alex's dramatic fall, this episode became more than just a quiz show. It was a deep dive into tension, timing, and the subtle complexities of human nature. It showcased strategy, emotion, and the unpredictable nature of competition all at once. And maybe that's the secret to why a show like Jeopardy has kept us hooked for decades. We see our own hopes, our fears, and our capacity for both brilliant strategy and human error. We see life played out on a game show stage. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe for more. The air in the studio is absolutely electric. That clock ticking down those final 30 seconds of Final Jeopardy, it feels like an eternity, doesn't it? If you watch closely, you can almost hear the faint scratch of the pens, the subtle shuffle of papers. It's more than just a game show moment. It's a profound period of stillness, a moment suspended in time, powerful confluence of preparation, raw nerves, and desperate hope. The contestants are poised, almost statuesque, each one entirely absorbed in their own thoughts. You can practically hear the mental countdown going on inside their heads. Do I risk everything on this answer? Should I hold back? What if I'm fundamentally wrong? Let's talk about Kamau Bell. His decision to completely bypass the factual response and write a piece of humor instead, it was more than just a joke for the audience. It was an emotional pressure release. It showed us something crucial. Even under the most immense public pressure, a person's true personality will always shine through. And his choice to make a $0 wager, that was the ultimate calculated restraint. It was strategy, pure and simple. It preserved his current place, kept him solidly in the game, and underscores a lesson every single competitor eventually learns. Sometimes, just surviving the round, just making it to the next day, that is the ultimate winning strategy. The tension only builds as the camera pans to Ashley Chan, the contestant currently sitting in second place. Her pen hovers, it's poised, but there's a visible deliberation in her movement. When her answer is finally revealed, her words are simple, human, and completely authentic. I was glad to be back. The audience manages a soft laugh, but it's not out of ridicule at all. It's out of deep recognition. We have all been there. We have all had those moments of nervous honesty. Those high-stakes scenarios where our inner, slightly panicked self leaks out into the world. It's a moment of vulnerability that makes her instantly relatable. Then there is Alex DeFranc leading the pack with $6,400. Alex absolutely embodies confidence and poise. His choice of what is water music feels strong, informed, and precise. The composer, Handel, is indeed correct. But, as a host often reminds the audience in these nail-biting situations, the clue demanded precision that went beyond just naming the correct composer. The reference to the Messiah was the key, a critical nuance that only the most careful observation, the deepest strategic reading of the clue, would catch. And this, right here, this is the inherent beauty, the true artistry of Final Jeopardy. It is never merely a simple test of accumulated knowledge. It is a true examination of awareness, of pacing, of risk calculation, and ultimately, of raw courage. Every single action, every small hesitation, every strategic decision that is made echoes far beyond the expiration of that 30-second clock. It is a moment where human psychology is played out right in front of us. When you watch these moments, what do you think separates the good players from the great ones? Is it just having the knowledge, or is it knowing when to hold back, when to joke, and when to go all in? Think about the sheer number of facts that have to be juggled, the quick strategic calculations, and the ability to maintain composure when the stakes are at their absolute highest. It requires a mental discipline that few of us ever truly master. Kamal's choice was strategic, yes, but it also reflects a philosophy of life. Sometimes a moment of levity can save you. It can diffuse the pressure and allow you to stay grounded. Ashley's honesty was a reminder that vulnerability is powerful. It shows us that even in the most competitive environments, we are all just human beings, dealing with enormous pressure. And Alex's mistake, while costly, teaches us that mastery requires meticulous attention to detail. Knowledge is important, but context is everything. You have to answer the question asked, not the question you hope was asked. Final Jeopardy is a perfect microcosm of high-stakes decision-making. We are given the same information as the contestants, yet we watch, paralyzed, as they make choices that redefine their lives, often in the difference of a single phrase or a $0 wager. So next time you watch that final round, don't just look for the correct answer. Watch the human element. Watch the hands. Watch the slight shifts in posture. And listen to the words they write, because those small details tell the real story of pressure, knowledge, and survival. What is your strategy when the stakes are highest? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of competition. Thanks for watching. This is the moment everything changes. We've watched these three competitors battle through categories, navigating history, science, and pop culture. But now, it all comes down to a single question and the wagers they chose in isolation. The suspense in this studio right now is absolutely electric. First up is Kamal. Kamal's final answer is revealed. It's incorrect, and he takes the opportunity to inject a little bit of that Kamal humor, trying to lighten the mood a bit, but honestly it's not scoring him any points on the board. His playful spirit, though, is a reminder that even in the highest stakes, there's room for personality. Kamal has placed a modest wager. Now, let's turn our attention to the underdog, Ashley. Ashley has been consistent, building momentum throughout the game. She started the final round in third place, trailing the leader by a significant margin. Her answer is revealed, and it's also incorrect. You can see the slight disappointment flicker across her face, but she knew the risks. But here's where the story gets interesting, and frankly, completely unpredictable. Ashley made a calculated risk, a strategic, yet incredibly bold, move. She wagered $1,002. Not $1,000, not $1,500, $1,002. This specific wager leaves her with a remaining total of $4,398. It might seem like a small detail, but in this game, those $2 are often the difference between second and third place, or sometimes, between winning and losing. She didn't have the correct answer, but she played the board. This calculated risk, this precision in her wager, suddenly positions her for an unexpected victory, should the leader stumble. The tension is almost palpable as we wait for the final card to be turned. Every single person in the room, the audience, the production team, and the other contestants, is holding their breath, understanding that this is the pivot point of the entire episode. And finally, we look at Alex. Alex, the frontrunner, the one who controlled the board for most of the game. He went into the final round with a commanding lead, sitting comfortably in first place. His confidence has been evident all afternoon, answering complex questions with a casual ease. His final answer is revealed. And just like Kamal and Ashley, Alex is incorrect. A collective gasp goes through the audience. We can see the shock setting in on his face, a slight furrow in his brow. He missed the critical piece of information, the nuance in the clue that separated the correct answer from a plausible one. For those watching at home, the host takes a brief moment to explain the specific historical context and the Messiah reference in the clue, reminding us all that in this arena, knowledge alone is sometimes insufficient. You need absolute precision. But what happened next would change everything. Alex's wager, because he was in the lead, he had to wager defensively. He was confident, perhaps too confident. Let's look at the final leaderboard shift. Alex drops from first place all the way down to third. His massive, confident wager, designed to lock out the competition, is what ultimately became his downfall. Kamau, steady in the middle, remains in second place with $7,000. And Ashley rises because her remaining total was $4,398. And Alex's was $4,399. Wait, hold on a second. We've made a mistake. Kamau is at $7,000. Ashley is at $4,398. Alex is at $4,399. Wait. Let's do the math again. Kamau, $7,000. Ashley, $4,398. Alex, $4,399. Alex is still ahead of Ashley by $1 single. The room goes silent as the host reconfirms the scores. A stunning twist. Ashley, despite a careful wager, is still in third place. But hold on, let's check the starting totals. Alex started with $8,800. Kamau started with $8,500. Ashley started with $5,400. Kamau wagered $1,500. Incorrect. $8,500 minus $1,500 equals $7,000. Kamau is at $7,000. Ashley wagered $1,002. Incorrect. $5,400 minus $1,002 equals $4,398. Ashley is at $4,398. Alex wagered $4,401. Incorrect. $8,800 minus $4,401 equals $4,399. Alex is at $4,399. Yes, the math is confirmed. Alex wins by $1. An absolute heartbreaker for Ashley, whose calculated risk fell just short of achieving the impossible. The camera lingers on Ashley's quiet smile, accepting the near miss Kamau's thoughtful expression, and Alex's stunned realization that he escaped elimination by the narrowest margin in the show's history. Every wager is truly a story of risk and reward. Every score change is a microdrama of human emotion. This wasn't just a game, it was a study in human nature under pressure. What an incredible finish. Follow from our high-stakes game show analysis. Have you ever watched a game show and felt like you were right there on the stage? Heart-pounding, mind-racing. That's exactly what happened in the latest episode of Jeopardy. And it was a masterclass in why this show is more than just a quiz. It's about strategy, nerve, and the human element that makes every game so unpredictable. Let's set the scene. Alex DeFranco was cruising. He had a commanding lead, answering question after question with the confidence of someone who seemed destined to win. He was the frontrunner, the one to beat, and everyone, probably even himself, thought he had it in the bag. On the other side of the stage, there was Ashley Chun. She wasn't dominating the board, but she was playing a smart, steady game. And then we have Kamau Bell, holding his ground, making calculated moves. As the game progressed, you could feel the tension building. Alex's lead was impressive, but in Jeopardy, a big lead can also be a big target. The game isn't just about knowing the most facts. It's about knowing when to be aggressive and when to be cautious. It's a delicate dance between confidence and hubris, and one wrong step can change everything. Then came the moment that turned the entire game on its head. Final Jeopardy. This is where legends are made and frontrunners can fall. The category was revealed, the clues were read, and the contestants had just a few precious seconds to write down their answer and, more importantly, their wager. This is the ultimate test of strategy. How much do you risk? How much faith do you have in your knowledge and in your opponent's potential mistakes? Alex, with his significant lead, had a decision to make. He could have played it safe, wagered just enough to secure the win, but he went big. It was a bold move, a confident move, but, as we soon found out, it was a fateful one. He got the answer wrong. And just like that, his towering score came crashing down. In an instant, the leader became the last-place finisher. It was a dramatic, almost cinematic fall from grace, but it was also incredibly human. It reminded us all that even the most knowledgeable competitors are vulnerable to the pressure of the moment. Now let's look at Ashley Chen. She entered Final Jeopardy, not as the leader, but as a contender playing her own game. She didn't have the pressure of a massive lead to protect. She just needed to make the right choice. She analyzed the category, considered her position, and made a calculated wager. When her answer was revealed to be correct, the numbers on her screen ticked up, surpassing everyone else. She became the unlikely victor. There was no over-the-top celebration, just a quiet, understated triumph. It was a kind of victory that feels deeply satisfying because it wasn't won by brute force, but by intelligence and composure. Ashley's win was proof that in Jeopardy, it's not always about having all the answers, but about making the smartest choices when it counts the most. And what about Kamau Bell? His strategy was perhaps the most subtle, yet equally brilliant. He wagered $0. He recognized the risk, assessed the situation, and decided that the smartest move was to stand still. He didn't win, but he didn't lose his shirt either. His decision was a quiet lesson in itself. Sometimes, the boldest strategy is to not be bold at all, It's about knowing when to hold steady and let the game come to you. As the host wrapped up the show, the final message was clear. It's not always the right answer that wins, but how you play the game. This single episode was a perfect example of what makes Jeopardy so enduring. It's a convergence of intellect, strategy, raw human emotion, and heart-pounding suspense. We see competitors who are brilliant, yet flawed. We see moments of triumph and moments of humility. The takeaway for all of us watching at home is universal. Knowledge is powerful, there's no doubt about that. But in the game of life, just like in Jeopardy, it's wisdom, patience, and a calm mind that often determine the outcome. It's about knowing when to push forward and when to hold back. It's a lesson in how numbers on a scoreboard never tell the whole story. This is why we watch. This is why we love the game. Every second counts. Every choice matters. And sometimes, victory comes when you least expect it. Thanks for watching with me today. If you love deep dives into moments like this, make sure to follow for more.